Hi everyone, I'm Darla Cozzarelli with Refining Purpose, and with me today I have the honor of interviewing Jeanette Yoffe. She earned her master's in clinical psychology. She specialized in children from Antioch University. She treats children with serious psychological problems secondary to histories of abuse, neglect. She specialized for the past 18 years in the treatment of children who manifest serious deficits in their emotional, cognitive, and behavioral development. And she's also the founder of Celia Center, a nonprofit organization in Los Angeles, supporting all members of the foster care and adoption constellation. She's also the clinical director of Yoffe Therapy, a mental health group practice in Los Angeles, providing services to families, children, teens, and adults connected by foster care and adoption. Thank you, Jeanette, so much for doing this interview with us. It's a pleasure. So I want to start things off by asking you, could you tell me a bit more about yourself, your practice, and what has inspired you to do all of it?
Well, thank you for having me, Darla. I'm speechless. Thank you. It's an honor to be here and share my story with others and hopefully inspire other people to do the same, because we need more of us out there doing this work, making the change in the system that so desperately needs to happen. So it all started, I was volunteering with adopted children. And I was also, at that time, I was an actress, and I was writing a play about my story growing up in foster care and adoption. And this little girl comes running up to me, and she was so excited to meet an elder adoptee, a young adult adoptee, who'd also been raised in foster care. And she was so excited to meet someone else like her. And I realized, oh my gosh, this little girl, I'm giving her hope and knowing that there's someone out there that is also like her, and I'm okay. Yes, I still have challenges from time to time, but I can be a mentor and a role model to her. And that's when I realized I really wanted to work with kids. And so I finished writing my piece, my one-woman play. I performed the play. I did benefits for many organizations here in Los Angeles. And then I realized I had a voice, because we did a Q&A after each show. And I realized I knew more about the topic than social workers and therapists out there. And we are paraprofessionals. So that's when I realized, wow, I'm actually an expert in this experience, and I have a voice. And I then chose to leave an acting career. And it wasn't something, I just always had a chameleon-like personality. I could adapt and be other people. And I think that's why I became an actress, because it was easier to be other people than be myself. Because growing up in foster care and adoption, it was very difficult. I had many challenges, and I wanted to run away from that experience, and I wanted to be somebody else. Mm-hmm. So acting became a defense mechanism and an ability to cope and just survive this experience and escape into a reality of imagination that made it easier for me to cope with my life experience. And I think that's why that led me to acting. But ultimately, going back to school and becoming a psychotherapist and really doing this work and understanding the unmet needs of foster youth and adoptees. And I felt compelled from my acting experience to teach. And so I started teaching these interventions that I do with kids. Mm-hmm. I just started developing therapeutic interventions, because there was nothing out there specifically targeting and treating children in foster care and adoption. So I started creating coping skills bags, and I was still an intern, and here I was training therapists on how to work with foster youth and implementing therapeutic interventions like a question box that holds all the questions that foster youth have, not knowing what happened to their birth families, the ambiguous loss. So I started developing more interventions, and I self-published my book, just feeling the need to put something out there. There's nothing out there. And then I became licensed. Then I started my own private practice thinking, this is my goal. But actually before that, I did an internship at a foster care agency here in Los Angeles, which was Southern California Foster Family Agency, which is now Extraordinary Families. And when I worked there, I really wanted to see what was happening in the Los Angeles County foster care system. So I could have that knowledge, because I'm from New York. So I said, I want to really know what's happening here. So I would, have visits with kids at their homes, do, my treatment plans, my notes, talk with DCFS workers, take children to child welfare court, just monitor visits with birth parents. And I could really see all the challenges. And that's when I really wanted to create a support group. And so upon transferring from being a foster care social worker to a therapist at Southern California FFA, I then wanted to start a support group. But my vision was not just for foster parents or adoptive parents. I want to bring us all together. And because I saw the stigmas of birth parents, I saw the fear in adoptive parents, I saw adoptees wanting to share their stories, and I felt compelled to just start a support group, just bring us all together. And Darla, the first support group, we had 60 people there. I was shocked. I said, oh my God, this is such a need here in LA County. And people showed up. And that's when I said, wow, I think this is something here. And so I called it the Adopt Salon Constellation Support Group. I made it like very casual. We're not doing therapy. We're just going to be in a room together and just tolerate that and learn from each other, because everybody's so scared.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for 10 years. And out of that came Celia Center, which it's a nonprofit organization like yours. And I said, with the nonprofit, I could develop more programs, support and create a community of support, which I also was looking for myself as an adoptee and former foster youth. I didn't know where to turn. I said, well, I'm going to create something because we make the difference. And so I started Celia Center. I wanted to name it after my birth mother, Celia, who also needed support back when I was an infant. She didn't have anywhere to turn. So it honors the first birth mother's experience, the family of origin, the foster family, the adoptive family, the adoptee, and the foster youth. So we're all supported and we all have compassion, gain understanding, and learn from each other. So we can see each other's points of view and not judge and have these misperceptions of who we are. We're all people and we all struggle with challenges on all different levels. Well, we can create new paradigms, new ways of encouraging the system to do things differently, which led me to do more open adoption. Now I'm doing more family reunification work. Mm-hmm. So it's led to all these new opportunities where I feel like, wow, I can really be the change I want to see in the foster care system. So it inspires me every day to do this work, So there it is in a nutshell, how this all happened.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know what I'm really loving about your work too? It sounds like it's providing the ability to reflect from all sides. Like you said, the foster care system, the adoptive parents, foster parents, adoptees, foster youth, we are all hurting. So how can we come together to understand each other and empathize with each other's situations, move forward, and I really like that. And I think it's beautiful, like I said, that you named your nonprofit after your birth mother. That's awesome. And it's amazing that you have this heart to serve this population that does have unmet needs. And something I remember you mentioning that you observed how there's a lack of research regarding adoption.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really true. Like there's such a huge gap in literature and in supporting this population. So
Mm-hmm.
it's awesome that you're not just providing a need, but you're finding a way to integrate so many interconnected parts of the field in order to best help adoptees and foster youth. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
And one of the questions I had for you, I was wondering if you could kind of touch base more on those interventions.
Oh, sure. So we need coping skills. So as a therapist, my goal is to help clients find a sense of relief, make sense of their stories, learn to be with all the feelings, the thoughts, and the sensations of what they're experiencing so they can move through it. Because parents are always asking me, when are they going to get over it? The loss, the trauma. And I have to reframe and say, it's not about getting over it. It's a lifelong experience. And it's hard for parents because they want to fix things, they want to make things okay. So it's helping parents understand through these interventions that it is going to be a process. This is not a one-time fix. It's a daily dose of utilizing these interventions, putting them into your daily practice. So I developed the question box that I talked about earlier. Then I had a child who'd been in 12 foster homes who was extremely angry, of course, had a lot of shame and blame. He thought it was his fault, like most kids do. They believed the trauma was caused by them. And he was very angry, banging his head on the wall. And all I could think was, I need to provide this child with anger coping skills. So one of my first interventions was the anger bag. So I had in one bag, which as a psychotherapist, bags, boxes serve as containment. It's a place for us to project, externalize, hold our experiences that, okay, there's a place for this because we can't hold it all up here and in our bodies. So, and kids need to externalize, and that's through play and projecting and putting things out there to process. So in the bag has Play-Doh, you rip and squish the Play-Doh, but you externalize and you say what you're mad at, you use your I statements, and you do it in a playful way that entices them so they're not afraid of their anger. Like, we got this. The child then teaches the parent how to use the anger bag because parents also have anger. So it becomes a shared experience. And Play-Doh, how to draw and write out your feelings, encouraging that form of expression. There's multiple ways to express our anger, knowing that it's okay, making this a normal experience, it's a part of being human, and bubble wrap, just letting the stress pop out of your body literally when you remove the bubble wrap, and the sensory sock. It's this big spandex. Um, it's a big. It's made of spandex, and you go into it, and it's big enough for you to go in, and you push on it, and you release what you're feeling in your body, so that you can start releasing some good endorphins, moving through the feelings and sensations, and so that provided a container for this child, and he was able to feel and be with his anger in a better way. And then I created this sad bag after that because we have so many layers. So the sad bag has worry dolls in it, has a sad pillow to cry in, has also paper to draw, has Play-Doh, just honoring the grief and loss that these kids experience. And then I created this stress bag because, and it's deciding which bag, which container, which coping skill does the child need first. I created a YouTube channel for kids called Just Chill for Kids. And it's a mental health channel teaching kids skills to help them cope with everything that's going on in the world right now. for any child in the world, not just foster care and adoption, but it can be for any child. And I show them how to make a sad bag, how to make a stress bag, how to make an anger bag, how to have 5 ways to hack your stress right now. So these interventions just have come out of a need. What can I provide for kids so they can cope, acknowledge, move through in a way that's playful, not shameful, and just work through this?
You've provided such valuable information that can impact so many lives. So thank you so much. And thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you. Bye.